back to KIALOA's biomechanical stand-up paddle videos. On this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about kind of the role of belly button to big toe. We're going to really kind of see how those legs kind of incorporate into the paddling stroke. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to have Dave pop up here on the board. And what we're going to do in this one, kind of we talked about in the foundation video, the thought process about sternal lift. So I'm going to have you kind of think about keeping that sternal lift here for me. And as we stand here, we're going to get back in this athletic stance posture. And so we've got kind of ankles bent, knees bent, hips kind of at the ready. And in this standing position, what I really want you to think about, Dave, is I really want you to kind of think that you've got a point of contact directly under your heel, and you've got a point of contact directly at the base of that big toe. And as you kind of think about letting the base of the big toe find the board, what you should find is that that kind of activates and turns on the muscles of the inside of your thigh. And as the muscles of the inside of your thigh turn on, that kind of activates and turns on the muscles of your buttocks. And as those muscles of your butt turn on, they actually stimulate the muscles of your stomach to turn on, and those abdominal muscles are going to be a big power generator in paddling. So when we look at paddling from this standpoint, we're thinking about the sternal lift, and we think about this athletic leg posture. What we want to additionally kind of think about is that as I come down into that paddle stroke, what we see people a lot of times doing is they really kind of they slump their spine into it. They get this big crunch kind of coming in here. Pretty unsafe for the discs of the spine and really the joints of the spine. So we want to really kind of see the forward motion that you're doing in paddling really wants to come downstairs just a little bit and generate out of those hips, so that the motion, we're keeping those kind of ankles and knees flexed, and then we're just bending out of those hips and then coming all the way back up to straight, and then bending out of those hips and coming all the way back up straight, so that we're lengthening out the muscles of the trunk, but the motion is really kind of generating out of the hip joints, which are nice big joints designed to kind of do that motion. So what we'll see a lot of times, Dave, and I'm going to ask you to do some things wrong here to start with. What I'm going to have you do is just to take a couple paddle strokes for me, if you will, just kind of using the back as your power generator. And you can kind of see we've got motion all over the place there. It's pretty unsafe on the back. We're not efficiently generating power out of the shoulders. We're losing a lot of motion and power coming in and out of those legs. So now if we transition back to kind of a more correct paddle stroke, where we're thinking about sternal lift and keeping that shoulder married to the body, but now we're really thinking about those legs and that pivot coming out of the hips. So we're kind of staying in that nice soft bent ankle position, bent knee position, but the movement that we're doing is really coming out of those hips. And so now we're borrowing a lot of the big power and strength that we have by coming out of the legs and leading up into the trunk. If Dave right now were to lean his motion out towards the pinky toe rather than the big toe, we can automatically see a loss of balance, and we also see a lot of changes in his body, which kind of become less efficient. So that thought process of big toe being involved in paddling, which sounds weird, is actually a huge component in paddling. So we can kind of see when he finds that big toe, we get this nice, powerful stroke, which is what we're going to talk about in the fifth video, is really putting it all together, finding that connection from big toe all the way up to the base of the skull, and finding that not only safe but powerful and efficient and sustainable paddle stroke.